By saying I'll start in January, you're telling your brain I'm a coward.
What are some limiting beliefs that you have had to remove from your mind?
Don't have any limiting beliefs at all. I've never had any limiting beliefs. Never. If you're somebody that is struggling financially, or if you're broke, right, and you think you know it all, that's arrogance. Because if you knew it all, you wouldn't be so broke. There's more money looking for an opportunity than opportunity looking for money. Poverty lives in indecision and slow decision making. The truest form of intelligence is getting out of life what you want, right? So if you've not been smart enough to get out of life what you want, you're dumb. Do it today, not tomorrow.
Welcome to Gold Standard Time with me, Richard, bringing you stories of innovation, reinvention, and self-development from the Middle East and from right here in the capital of ambition, Dubai. My goal is to inspire and challenge anyone that's dreaming, doing, and pushing for more. So let's get into it. My guest today is Dami Omotayo, a performance coach, entrepreneur, and property millionaire with over 150 Airbnb units in his portfolio. He's known for his no excuses approach to discipline, confidence, and winning. Dami believes success isn't about motivation or education, it's about standards, responsibility, and action. And as we head towards 2026, his philosophy on locking in mentally, financially, and spiritually is more relevant than ever. So Dami, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
No, all good, man. I usually find it more polite for my guests to introduce themselves. So Dami, how would you introduce yourself to people that don't know you?
I would say that I am a husband, a father of 2 girls, an entrepreneur. I am somebody that is very grateful for life. And as a result, I like to take the most opportunities. And yeah, I believe I've been put here to encourage, to inspire, and to lead the next generation.
Okay. And how did you find yourself in Dubai? I often call Dubai the capital of ambition. It attracts a lot of ambitious people, a lot of successful people. Do you feel that's one of the reasons why you came here? What drew you here?
So the first time around, when I came, 2017, I was inspired by seeing people, ex-colleagues, friends, coming out here, doing amazing things. So at that time, I moved out. I think I moved in February 2017.
Okay.
And then my wife and one daughter then came to join us in April.
Right.
So we both actually came here working that time. So we were working, but we saw the opportunities of tax-free living, higher salaries, more opportunity, sun as well. You know,
That helps.
Yeah, it helps. And then the second time around, we came back as entrepreneurs. So this time around, it's more, the business in the UK is built, it's thriving, it's doing well. Now, I don't want to call it a semi-retirement, because it's not. We still do various things here, but this time there's a lot less pressure. You know, we're not waking up every day and going to work. We are building our business from the UAE, really. It's more of a foundation, because we've got global business now as well.
Okay, I want to dive into that actually because, again, the UAE draws many people, especially ambitious people, but there is a dichotomy that you've actually just picked up on. People that come here to work and people that come here to set up a business or to run a business that they've already set up.
Correct, yeah.
You've done both, and very few people have done that, right? They've come 2 different times, years apart, with 2 different mindsets. What mindset did you come with in 2017, and how is that different to the one you came with now as a business owner?
2017 was more of the unknown, right? I'd been to Dubai only once on a family holiday, so I knew what it was about. But back then, Dubai wasn't trending. You know, I didn't know, apart from my colleague and the people that he knew out there and a few people that I had known for a while, I didn't really know anyone in Dubai. So it was more of the unknown, going for an opportunity, more of a case of, this is what I'm earning, this is what my wife's earning. Can we go out there and can we double it? Can we triple it? We're young, we were like 26. Can we go out there and make something of our lives? And it was more, this opportunity might not be here forever, so let's take it. So it was going with open mind, we're going to go out there, we're going to make it work, we're going to build something. Second time as a business owner, bear in mind, in between the time from when we moved back to now, we were still going to Dubai. Sometimes we'll spend some summers there, or we'll spend some time in Dubai. Dubai's always been a place I've really enjoyed. I really like the way this city is set up. So I was ready to come back again. And I thought to myself, the business is quite systemized. Money's coming in. I enjoy the quality of life there. We've got a lot more time now. I can't think of a better place right now for us to live and raise the family. So we took a trip, I think, the summer before we moved. And I think that's what sealed it.
Okay.
I think, you know, I was sitting there, I can't remember where we were. I was speaking to my wife and, you know, she was just looking a bit really comfortable, a bit comfortable enough to know that this is on the cards.
Yeah.
When we got back to the UK, we had the chat. And then, we said, okay, cool, we're going to make the move. And then, we made it.
Is there an element of you coming back the second time around as someone that was established in business that you kind of felt like you deserved it, whereas the first time around maybe you were kind of working towards being someone that deserved to be here in a way?
Yeah, it depends, right? Because Dubai has got something for everyone. So even if you are working, you can still deserve it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can stay here, work, you can build. There's a lot of people that stay here, they work, they do well, they save, they invest, they achieve their goals. I know people that moved back to Dubai back in the day, 2015. They stacked for 2-3 years. They went and bought big houses in Kent, Essex, UK. Like they went and they're still in the UK. They wouldn't come back to Dubai. They're comfortable.
So they kind of got what they wanted to get out of the city.
They got what they wanted to get out and then they've left. I think now, I wouldn't say it's like we deserve it. I'll say it's more like now that I'm here, this is the quality of life that I want. You know, chef, nanny, driver, convenience. These are the kind of things that safety, a good place to raise the kids. UK right now, if I had to pick for where we're at right now, I'm picking Dubai, and I guess a lot of people are leaving as well, and it's for a reason. Not to knock the UK. UK still got its pluses, but obviously,
what are the pluses of the UK?
The UK is a very stable economy.
Okay.
The UK has a democracy, right? In a sense of...
Does that matter?
Look, you know, for some people, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I don't mind that this place is technically a dictatorship because I believe in law and order. And, you know, I don't think it's right for someone to get stabbed and then it's kind of like, oh, does the government deep down, do they really care? Do the police really care? No one would even dare try and do something like that here because the system has done its job, and the system's job is to protect the people. And if you don't feel protected in a certain system, the logical thing to do is if you can't change it, you're going to leave, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, not to get into too much. Like, I'm not a UK basher.
Yeah.
UK has given me a lot.
Yeah,
So, you know, things you said good things about the UK. Opportunity to make money. It's, you know, we've got a democracy there. Yeah, that's about it.
I don't think I've ever seen you wobble on a question, but that one was...
yeah, but you know what it is? Yeah. It's not wobbling. It's just the UK is... You know, I've got business in the UK. I've got interest in the UK. I'm never going to knock the UK.
And same here. And I feel like on this podcast, a lot of people have come on and said things about the UK, about the West, about Europe.
What kind of things? Bad things?
I think mostly fair statements, right? Especially to do with, again, safety, whether it's to do with the state of the economy at this time. I think it's not the easiest time at the moment for Europe, for the West, particularly for Europe and the UK. But as you said, it's stable. Things don't work for a long time unless there's a system, right? And if there's a system, systems also go through ups and downs. They go through cycles. And so I don't think the UK is finished. I don't think Europe is finished, as people say. I think it's going through a bit of a phase. It's also not the worst place to be, especially if you are well set up career-wise or business-wise.
Yeah, agreed.
I want to talk about winning, right?
Yeah.
Dubai, again, is filled with, and the Middle East generally is filled with winners. And I want to talk about some of the traits and the characteristics of winners. The first one I want to talk about is something you said before, and it goes back to your first move to Dubai. You mentioned one time that you and your wife spoke for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that sealed your first move to Dubai.
Correct, yeah.
And that's linked to one character trait that you mentioned before, that winners don't waste time, right, in terms of decision making. And you said something one time that poverty lives in
indecision.
Yes.
And slow decision making. And I think that successful people make quick decisions, and they're quick to make decisions, right? And they're slow to change their minds. I think unsuccessful people make really, really slow decisions, and then they're quick to change their minds. So that character trait because you asked what is a character trait of winners, right? Everyone around me that's wildly successful, they make quick decisions. They implement fast, they move fast. There's no like, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should wait, or maybe I should wait until January, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
If something makes sense, they're doing it yesterday. And that compounds, because if you're somebody that makes a decision every 3 months versus someone that makes a decision every day, that person is going to be 300, 400, 500 times ahead of you in the space of like 2 years, because you need a whole year to make 4 important decisions. Meanwhile, they may have made 400, 500 important decisions, because successful people, they don't waste time.
And you mentioned important decisions, and it kind of links up to a follow-up question I was going to have. The size of decisions. A lot of people say if you're going to be successful, you need to take action and take big action, right? And you need to do that often. Do you agree with that? Do the decisions that you take, should they be kind of small, iterative, that kind of, again, compound you towards success? Or are you always trying to make big decisions all the time? Doesn't that make life a little bit volatile?
Definitely, it depends what you class as a big decision, right?
Okay.
So for me and my wife, moving to Dubai wasn't a big decision. But for someone else, it wasn't a big decision.
Why do you say that?
Because what's the worst that can happen? We'll move out here and we'll make it happen. We had undeniable belief in our ability to be successful. So it's like, I couldn't think of any downsides, because the UK is not going anywhere, right? So if it doesn't work, pack our bags, get them back on a plane to the UK. There's like zero downside. So for me, that wasn't a big decision. I can't think of anything that is a typical big decision. Like, a lot of people say moving is a big decision, or it's like when we were coming up, we lived in rooms, we lived in small apartments. We moved about eight or 9 times. Not a big decision. Like, it was literally like, okay, cool, we're moving, we need some help. My wife will go on Gumtree, she'll find someone to help, they'll move the stuff, we're into the next place. Like, there was no kind of like, oh, let's sit here and think. And that's one thing, making fast decisions, right? Especially when you're married or you're in a solid relationship, you need someone that's on the same page. Because one thing I've seen as well is a lot of men want to make quick decisions. When they go home and maybe their wife's a bit of like a naggy wife or a nag, and they're saying, babe, don't do that, what if, what if? And it's just like, that there is slowing a lot of people down. The good thing is, my wife is a decision, like, you know her anyway, she's an action taker, she's a decision, like, we can make fast decisions. So it's very important that the person that you choose to settle down with is aligned with your mindset.
Okay. Because what if they're not? How do you get them there?
2 options, right? The first option is leave.
Well, if you're locked in marriage.
If you're locked in marriage, you need to say that, look, I'm going to make these decisions, and I'm the man. So you need to listen to me. Okay. Because I'm going to take that responsibility. However, if it goes wrong, I will also take that responsibility and I'll take that burden. But if it goes right, then I'm going to beat my chest and let you know that this is what's happening. Like, we're working because I made this decision for the good of our family. Any leader that wants to lead their home shouldn't be making decisions that won't benefit the whole family unit anyway.
All right, so quick decision making. What's some of the other characteristics of winners as you see it?
Unwavering resilience. So the difference between a winner and a loser is that we're all going to have hard times, we're all going to have troubles, we're all going to go through strife, we're all going to go through pains. How do you react? Because often the difference between a winner and a loser isn't that they've had different situations, it's how they've responded to it. So for example, let's say somebody has been trying to get a property deal and they've made 50 calls and then given up and thought, this isn't for me, and then they've moved on, they've said property doesn't work. Their success could have been on the 51st call. So the winner is going to keep going, even if they get rejected 500 times. That 501st call might be the one where someone says yes, and then they've won. They've all done the same thing, but the losers quit too early. The losers stopped too early. Winners don't quit. And one thing I always say is that winners never quit and quitters never win. So you cannot lose if you don't stop. If you just refuse to quit, it's physically impossible for you to lose, right? So resilience is the difference between a winner and a loser. It's the same thing, right? Like, if you eat one salad, are you going to get a 6-pack? If you go to the gym one time and bicep curl, are you going to have massive biceps? Success also takes a bit of time, and progress takes time. It's not going to be comfortable, and too many people enjoy comfort.
So in terms of not quitting, it's something I've said before.
Yeah.
There are a couple of routes you can take. Some people can do things, some people can't, right?
Yeah.
So I do think that some people are better suited to some things than others. For example, property, you are most likely quite uniquely gifted in that asset class or for that asset class than others.
I think I could succeed in anything.
Well, maybe that's a unique trait for you that you're kind of
Yeah.
there. But I think some people can do certain things, some people can't. But I think everyone can do something. Okay, and the people that can do stuff,
I think a lot more people can do things that they set their mind to, but I feel like it's more of a conditioning thing. I think a lot more people can do more.
Unpack that for me.
Because you said you think some people are suited to different asset classes, right? Or
Yeah,
have
I don't
unique
think you
skill
can't.
sets.
All right, so this is the way I see it. So some people can do A, maybe more naturally than B. The people who can, some people will and some people won't.
Yeah.
The people who will, some people will stop and some people will continue. That branch of continuing is the branch that I see of winners, right?
Yeah.
The people who can and did, the people who did and continued and just didn't stop. Like that path, like you, as you quite rightly said, like if you don't stop, you're gonna win.
Yeah.
And the amount of the population, the proportion of the population that actually go down that branch of all the branches that we just made is actually quite small. And like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, so what you said, I wholeheartedly agree, because so many people just don't start stuff, and so many people who start stuff don't continue.
Yeah.
And you end up, even for example, with podcasts, right? I heard that, I can't remember the actual stat, but the amount of people that go past 10 episodes
It's very low.
is very low. The amount of people that reach like 20 is even lower.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like, you can actually be in the top X% of people
by just never giving up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that. And it being someone's mindset that stops them from starting or doing something. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
If everyone can do everything, why do most people do nothing?
Social conditioning. We live in a microwave society. People want it now. People don't like pain. People are not resilient. Society has babied everybody. You know, if you live in the Western world, you can sign on to benefits, claim all sorts of I don't know, like allowances from the government.
If you were a political leader, would you take those things away?
100%.
No, come on.
100%. I'll take every single thing away. Yeah, I would.
And what does that do for?
There's no benefits in the UAE. There's no benefit system.
True.
You know, in America, you need to have insurance. You can lie on the street with a broken leg. If you don't have insurance, the ambulance is driving off. So it's like,
and you think that's?
I think that is fantastic. I think because life, in my opinion, should be based on a meritocracy. If people are told that you can sit at home and, you know, you've got enough to buy a 60-inch TV, you can have a new car on finance, can have a cushy little free bed, you know, you don't have to pay council tax. All you need to do is call job seekers once every 2 weeks and say you're looking for a job, and you can earn 3-4K a month, and maybe if you have 6 kids, you can get even more. What do you think that's going to do? Do you think that's going to incentivize people to go and work, or do you think it's going to make them stay at home?
You know what it is? I think the idea of, and we're both believers, we're both followers of Christ. I think the idea of a benefit system, right, is righteous. It's a righteous idea. It's a godly one. I think, as with most things, human beings found and do often find ways to corrupt good ideas, right? Because they take advantage of things, they find loopholes around things, as you've quite rightly said, and so it goes the wrong way. So I wouldn't take these things away, but they need to be applied in the right way, because as you can see, in certain countries, they become so widespread that the wrong people are getting help in the wrong ways. Of course. And or is harming and hampering the lives of other people who don't need the help. And it kind of creates a somehow worse system for everyone, which is unfortunate. Yeah,
but you know, again, I don't mind. Like, I don't mind. This is like, you asked me if I'll take it away. I'm obviously not in control of the country, but if I was, I don't really see the benefit. But at the same time, because you said if everybody can do everything, why can't they? I'm a very firm believer in the fact that not everybody's meant for entrepreneurship. Okay. And, you know, at the same time...
Who is?
Before I get into that, let me say what I was going to say. So what I mean is that I don't think everybody is for entrepreneurship, right? And we need to be sort of I don't want to be crass, but we need people to flip the burgers. We need people to do the low-paid, low-skill jobs for society to work, right? So if everybody said, I want to be a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, probably wouldn't work. So, and then you asked something else as well. You said, who
in your mind, who is supposed to be an entrepreneur?
I think if you're meant to be an entrepreneur, you're going to know. You're going to feel it, like that little niggling feeling you're getting when you're waking up, going to your 9 to 5. You might see an entrepreneur and you might think, I don't mind a bit of that, Some people love their jobs and they retire and they live their whole life working. That's fine. But I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, you know.
Okay.
And if you know inside, no one can really tell you. But obviously you can get a little bit of encouragement by being around the right people. But deep down, if you're meant to be an entrepreneur, you will know.
Okay. Speaking to a lot, especially on your social media, is about locking in for 2026 and why waiting to start anything when we have a whole month to go is not the right way to go about things. So why don't we start there? Why are you telling everyone around you, family, friends, clients, customers, that they need to start now instead of waiting until January? Isn't January a great time to start?
It's a great question. And the question I want to ask you is, what's going to be different in January from right now, from today? Like what's going to change waiting a whole month before you take action from taking the action today? What's going to change?
What's going to change? A lot of people see January as just a new start, a fresh start. So I think they assume that they are going to feel more ready because the whole world is starting a new chapter.
I think that's great advice if you don't want to be successful. But a lot of people are not successful. So when you say a lot of people, of course, the masses will say, yeah, let me start in January. And then I actually think statistics say 92 to 95% of people do not do their New Year's resolutions. They do not stick to it. Gyms are always full in January, right? That's what we hear. That's what we see. These are facts. So it's like, let's break it down further and look at the psychological aspect. By saying I'll start in January, you're telling your brain I'm a coward. By saying I'm going to start in January, you're saying I'm actually, I'm actually childish because I could do it now, but you know what? Let me just use January as an excuse. And do you know what that tells your subconscious? It tells your subconscious that you're not on it. You're not about it. So it's like when January comes, deep down, you don't even believe in yourself. So maybe a week, 2 weeks if you're lucky. But if you really want to make a change, do it now. Start today. Start yesterday. Because that way you can start with momentum into the new year, and then you can hit the new year running. Habits that are meant to be good for you should be started immediately. Like if somebody said to you, "I'm going to give you £100 million," would you say, "Let me wait till January," or would you say, "Let me take it now"?
Yeah.
Opportunities are here today. You don't have to wait until January.
Okay. So when you say locking in for 2026, what does that actually mean in your mind?
I think for me personally, or for advice to other people.
Well, for you personally.
Yeah, for me personally, it just means more of the same, really.
Okay.
Like, everything I've set out to achieve this year, I've pretty much achieved it. But how I goal set is very different to the average person. I don't just say, okay, January to December, this is what I want to achieve. I look at where I want to be, if it's family, if it's faith, if it's financial, and I just work backwards. And then I think to myself, how much work can I do to make it unrealistic for me not to hit this target? And I can tell you now, waiting until January is not enough.
So 150 plus properties on Airbnb.
Correct. Under management.
Under management.
Yeah.
You are a driven person.
Yeah.
Very motivated. What about your success? Discipline or motivation?
I don't think motivation really exists because it's fleeting, right? You can't say you're motivated all the time. Discipline. I watched my dad wake up every single day and go to work. I watched him be very disciplined. My mum as well, very hard worker. So hard work was nothing that was new to me or shocking to me. I always knew that I could be wildly successful. So it's something I've always pursued. And I only entertain beliefs that serve me, right? So what is the point in waking up and saying, I think I could be moderately successful, or I hope I'm okay one day? Like, I want to be viciously successful in everything that I do. I think it's a healthy way to think. So you can't control really your circumstances. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your mind. So it makes every bit of sense in the world to build the strongest possible mindset you can. If you don't, you're missing a trick, because words have power, right? So if you're saying to yourself, "Oh, I don't think I can," that's what's going to manifest in your life. So mindset is probably the most important thing that it takes when it comes to, it's not about discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about a solid mindset.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about mindset. I know that's big for you. We've spoken about that before.
Yeah.
What are some of the core elements of your mindset, and what are some of the core elements of the mindset of a winner?
Just that I believe that there's literally nothing on the planet I can't achieve. I truly believe that from my core.
If you can achieve anything, how do you choose what to go after?
How do I choose what to go after? That's a great question. I think, obviously, I've made money in property. I've diversified into different businesses. We've had hair salons. We've had e-commerce businesses. We've had a lot of things that we've done. But business has a few core fundamentals, right, which can really apply to any business. Businesses need to be visible. You need to get leads. You need to essentially make a profit to run a business, right? That is across the board in all businesses. So I think some people go down the route of follow your passion. I go down the route of follow a vehicle that makes money, and if you can find passion within that, then that's great. Now, just because I believe I can achieve anything, doesn't mean that I'm going to go and start a daycare for cats and think that I'm going to blow it up, because it just doesn't interest me. So now I'm in a good position, because obviously we've got good businesses already. I can choose what interests me.
Nice. Okay. All right, let's talk about Airbnb a little bit. So what first drew you into property?
What first drew me in? Growing up, I saw my dad was into property, and I thought it created a good life for him. After he passed away, his estate was kind of run into the ground, because the executors of the will didn't really know what they were doing. So growing up watching that, I thought, one day I'm going to build something again. And I enjoyed it. I used to go to some of the properties with him. I used to see, okay, if you buy a property, tenants are going to pay you rent. I was thinking, okay, this is great income. No matter what you do every month, money's coming in. So property just seemed interesting. And obviously I'd seen it in the family. So when I had the opportunity to do it, jumped straight in.
Okay. And how have you used leverage to build your portfolio? What do people not understand about investor finance and using other people's money that you've used to kind of really grow?
I think, again, right, it comes down to visibility. If you're authentic and you document your journey, naturally people are going to reach out to you. How can I get involved? I want to get involved. When one person gets involved and it goes well, other people are going to talk, right? The most powerful thing when it comes to investor finance and even business in general is referrals. A happy customer is worth way more than any ads, right? So that is something about investor finance, but people aren't going to invest in someone they don't know. A lot of people come and say, I want to start a property business, but I want it to be faceless. I want to do this. It's like, if you want to grow 10 times slower, then make it faceless. But people need to know your face, right? I'm sure you probably saw me online before we sat in front of each other.
Yeah.
I've been very intentional about putting myself out there, because it brings me opportunities. And I say the same to anyone, to students that I mentor, people around me. If you want to grow, put yourself out there, because the more hands you go and shake, the more money inevitably that you're going to make, right? What's the quickest way to put your message out there? Social media. And how much does it cost to post on social media?
It's free.
It's free. Yeah. So it's just like, why don't more people do more of it?
I think it's lots of different reasons. I think people are uncomfortable with the idea of letting people know they're trying to do something. They're trying to achieve something. I think a lot of people, if they were already successful at something, would very happily post about it, celebrate it. But I think oftentimes when someone is on their way to whatever, there's a little niggling feeling that they don't maybe want people to know.
I think it's a confidence issue. And I think a lot of people care too much about what other people think. There are people that will be watching this podcast that just don't like the shape of my head. I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
There'll be people watching this podcast that look at your shirt and think, don't like that shirt, mate. Like, so what? Like, their opinions don't pay the bills. And when you appreciate that their opinions do not pay the bills, then you can be free. Because you drive a car, you drive a supercar, you have a rubbish clothes, you have expensive clothes, you live in a mansion, you live in a room. Someone will have something to say. Someone will have something to criticize. I'm of the opinion, give them something to talk about. There's like, as long as you're confident in what you're doing, you're being authentic to yourself, go and put yourself out there. And again, that's just a mindset and a limiting belief issue. Because when you go down to the crux of why a lot of people don't post, I don't know what my friends are going to think. I don't really want my family to know I'm starting this business, or I'm scared of evil eye. I don't think things are going to, all these kind of things, right? But it's all limiting beliefs and it's all nonsense. Yeah.
Okay. It's actually very interesting that you say that. I'm someone that I like quotes. I learn from them a lot. And there's a quote I saw in a lift, actually. Sometimes in the IFC, a lot of the lifts have a TV and they have like quotes in them. And it was by Aristotle, I believe.
Yeah.
And it said, if you don't want anyone to say anything about you, try nothing, do nothing, be nothing.
Yeah, correct.
And it amazed me because I was like Aristotle is, 2,000-3,000 years ago, right, lived. And no social media, no internet, but that level of wisdom was still applicable back then. And he knew that, listen, if you are trying to be anything, if you're trying to do anything out of the ordinary, someone is going to have something to say, right? 100%. And if that was true, like literally thousands of years ago, and it's still true today, it means that success, the path to success is the same as it always has been. And you quite rightly said that you have to try something. You have to decide to go down a path and stick to that, right?
Yeah, and I think also as well, like, if you want to be successful, right, you need haters. Like, you need, like, to know you're doing well, you're getting momentum, you should be receiving fresh hate. People should be saying, I don't like this, or who's this guy, commenting, getting angry, because that shows that you're making a splash. That shows that you're making noise. And success and attention, they go hand in hand. When you're being successful aggressively around people that maybe or family, or, on the internet, or you're potentially going viral, that comes with upsetting the status quo. Some people, not everybody's going to like it, and that is completely okay. It's really good, in fact.
Why's it good?
Because you're getting yourself out there. You're getting known, right? Like you just quoted Aristotle, right? If you want to do nothing, try nothing, be nothing, say nothing, etc. Like, if you're doing nothing and you're not disturbing anything,
that's a problem.
It's a problem. You're probably not doing enough. So do not be afraid to try new things. Not everybody's going to like it. And I feel like there's two stages of hate, right? There's the hate where it's a bit quiet, like, I'm not sure. And then there's hate where it's like, this guy's been doing a bit too well now. I've got to say something. I'm so angry. Like, I'm seeing this person achieving something which I'm nowhere near to. So I have to lash out now, because how's he doing it? It must be fake. It must be a scam, blah, blah, blah. That's great, because it's challenging people to say, actually, you can do it. And I think a lot of hate isn't real hate. It's just a cry for help. It's just to say, you know what? Please help me. That's really what they're saying.
Is that how you dealt with it? You reached out to your haters and said...
No, you know what? I used to, like, years ago, reach out and help, but now I let them marinate. It's fine. Okay. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about Airbnb before we kind of continue.
Sure.
Because I think one thing I've always liked, since I was a kid, to be honest, is just seeing people in their element, talk about the things they know, do the things that they know. So when I sit in front of an expert, when I sit in front of a master of any craft, however well I understand or don't understand it, there's something in what they say that will generally help, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of this sort of being your playing field, rent to rent is your favorite strategy.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, just give us a brief outline of what rent to rent is and how it works.
Okay, rent to rent is when you take a property either from an agent, a developer, or a landlord, and rather than purchasing that property to control it, you sign a long-term lease to gain control of that asset. Now, to make rent to rent profitable, there's various strategies, but my favorite one is Airbnb, where essentially you increase the value by turning it into a hotel. And then the difference between what you can charge on a nightly rate and the bills and the rent to the landlord, agent, or developer is your profit. And why I like that is because it's very scalable. You know, instead of putting 100K down for a deposit, you can put 10K into a property and be cash flowing 4 weeks later, as long as you know what you're doing. So in a nutshell, that is what rent to rent is. And yeah, it's been very good to me.
What are the risks associated with rent to rent?
The risks associated with rent to rent, the same risks really with any property strategy, right? You need to make sure that you know what you're doing. You need to make sure that you're legally compliant. You need to make sure that you're putting everything in place to make sure that you protect your asset, which is the property. It's the same risks, but it's not really about the risks, it's about how you mitigate against the risks.
Okay. And one of the ways you've spoken before about mitigating against the risks is exploring the various avenues to ensure that your property is occupied, right?
Correct.
Can you go through some of those in terms of maxing out on all of those avenues?
What do you mean exactly?
So I know you've spoken before about maybe speaking with tradesmen, speaking with contractors, speaking with builders, speaking with...
Is this for Airbnb specifically?
This for Airbnb
right?
specifically.
Yeah, I think, okay, like the three main ways like that we made sure that we were always profitable and filling properties. One, we actually invested heavily into a high street office about 4 years ago now. So we made sure that everyone in our area knew what we were doing. So we were always getting a lot of inbound leads, because where we've made good money is in the grey area as well. And what I talk about when I say the grey area is your number one tenant, for example, might want a long-term AST, right? And then you might have like a tenant in the other spectrum that needs like somewhere for a weekend. The grey area is where someone might need 3 months, or they might be working on a project for 8 months. It's not their main residence. They need a property. They don't want to live there, but they can't just go to a hotel for 8 months. It's not comfortable. They want to cook their own food. They want to wash their own clothes. No, like if you've ever stayed in a hotel for a prolonged period of time, you know that it's not comfortable. You'd rather stay in a house. So it's about positioning that grey market. There's a difference between just putting a property on Airbnb and hoping for the best and having an actual strategy. Now, Airbnb, funnily enough, only equates to about 15 to 20% of our income, because we get a lot of direct bookings. We get a lot of bookings through various channels, which are not just Airbnb. But when people hear Airbnb, they automatically think, oh, that's it. Let me just put my property on Airbnb. But there's many ways to fill your property. When it comes to marketing as well, and this goes for all businesses, if you have one client and you don't remarket to them, you're missing out on clients. This is something I learned in 2000.
Remarket.
If you don't remarket to your existing clients, you're missing out on clients. This is something I learned in 2019. We had a pub conversion which had 6 flats in Gillingham actually, and it was doing really well. It was fully booked all the time. Then we had a couple of months where it started to dip a little bit, and I was thinking to myself, how can I get more clients? So what I actually did was I integrated a MailChimp campaign. And MailChimp is like an email marketing software. I'm not actually very good at technology, so I just pay people to do things for me. So I got a VA to retarget all of our guests and actually start to call them. That strategy generated about 15K, because people are calling and say, oh yeah, I remember booking at your place. I couldn't find your details. We actually need somewhere from Sunday to Friday for the next 8 weeks. So this is what I mean when it comes down to thinking outside the box. You're running a business. You know, Airbnb is a marketing platform, but that doesn't stop you marketing directly. And, you know, sending an email, picking up the phone, these things are free. So, and it's going to apply in any business. Your most warm clientele is people that's already bought from you. So if somebody's already stayed and enjoyed something, they're way more likely to do it again. So, yeah, like I said, that was something I learned in 2019. And just as the business grew and grew, I started to see patterns in who would book in certain areas and for certain periods. So one thing I learned, again, which was very pivotal into making a lot more money, was nightly stays. And how I learned that was we were getting a lot of 2-night stays when we started, or 1-night stays. one night stays were very problematic. It could be parties, it could be last minute bookings. It was really bad, so we stopped that. 2 night stays, the problem was, say if we got 10 2-night stays in 1 month, that's 10 cleaning fees, that's 10 changeovers, that's 10 potentials for issues. So then when we increased to 4 nights, we started realizing people were booking Sunday to Friday or Monday to Friday, and they were contractors, right? Now, what happens if someone tries to book Monday to Friday, but Wednesday and Thursday is booked in your calendar? They can't book, right? So that's why we started to increase the minimum stays, and we were finding that it was reducing our changeovers, and essentially we were making more profit. So that's why I say, like, and we could go a lot deeper, but obviously we probably don't have time. But that's what I say, when there's ways to do Airbnb, and then there's ways to understand and live the strategy. Because some people think that, you know, they might list their property on Airbnb, no minimum stay, no deposit, no nothing. Someone comes in, has a party, trashes it, or maybe they get lucky, 2 or 3 stays, and then after that someone trashes it. They don't know how to prep cleaners properly. They can't find them. Cleaners do a bad job. They start getting bad reviews. No one books their property. Airbnb blacklists it. Booking.com blacklists it. They don't get any bookings. Then they run around screaming it doesn't work. It's a scam. No, they don't have the knowledge. They don't understand. They're not deep in this game. So, and it's the same with any business, right? You can say business doesn't work, but if someone out there has made it work, it does work. You're just not good enough. So you need to go and improve. And it goes back to what you were saying about being a winner, right? Winners take accountability. If things aren't happening, a winner doesn't say, oh, the market's down or this or that. A winner says, this is my fault. How can I improve? Let me go and improve.
This is what I'm saying. When you hear someone talk about their game, right?
Yeah.
You have to just sit back and kind of just listen, right? Because, again, you may or may not be in Airbnb, but what you just said can be applied to so many businesses and so many parts of life. That it is, I don't know, man. I've just always found it very important to just kind of listen to people talk about their game. You know what I'm saying? So, cool. No, thank you.
No problem at all. And something to add as well, right? Because a lot of people have an arrogance. And when I say an arrogance, it's like they've tried a business, it's not worked. But instead of reaching out to somebody that's further ahead or done it, even if it's paying for their time or adding value, they'd rather just say, oh, actually, it doesn't work. But what people need to understand is that I didn't wake up an expert in my business or my business models. I literally went through the pain, I went through the scars, I built it up. And when you sit down with people that really understand their business, you can feel it. There's a lot of noise and nonsense online, but people that have actually done business, it takes 10 minutes. You sit down, you understand what they're doing and what they can help you with. And I guess this goes to every single element and facet of business out there. If you are struggling, go and find somebody that's been where you are and do whatever you can to get around them, because the acceleration of growth will be so rapid, because the 10 years that they've gone through and the pain, or the 20 years, they can condense that into such a shorter time frame and help you. So, and one thing I always say, right, is that for whatever you want in this life, you are going to pay. It's either you pay with your time or you pay with your money. But you're paying regardless. There is a price to pay for success. I choose money every single time. And some people might not want to hear that. People think, they can go do it themselves. And they can, but you're still paying. But you're paying with time.
Did you only start paying with money when you had it?
No, our first mentorship, me and my wife, we put it on a credit card. We didn't have the money. We just needed to. We needed a way out. £14,000 with a mentor who don't even know where he is today.
14K?
Yeah, £14,000. Yeah, 14K.
Money well spent?
100%. Like, he wasn't even that great a mentor, but I knew I had to be successful after that. Like, it's when money is abundant, right? So you can always get it back. So it's like you can see it as 14K. Oh my God, 14K, or you can see it as freedom. Even if it was 140K, it's freedom, because it gave me some knowledge I didn't have before. And one thing I always say is, one piece of information, one conversation, one new meeting can give you information that can change your life forever. Because once you hear a new piece of information, you can't unhear it. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it, and you can't unthink it. So really and truly, it's a race to the knowledge, because often the difference between you and where you want to be is a knowledge gap. So most logical thing to do is go and get the knowledge, right?
No, I agree. I want to ask 2 quick questions on this knowledge mentoring point. Number one, You mentioned arrogance, but what is the key reason that you've seen that people just don't want to go get the knowledge, are not willing to pay for it, are not willing to spend the time?
If you're somebody that is struggling financially, or if you're broke, right, and you think you know it all, that's arrogance. Because if you knew it all, you wouldn't be so broke. You'd have money, right? That's the truth, right? Like, it's like if you say, oh, you know, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, blah, 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 but you're broke. Like, you know what like the truest form of intelligence is getting out of life what you want, right? So if you've not been smart enough to get out of life what you want, you're dumb. So it's like, have the humility to say, actually, you know what, this person's cracked it, or that person's cracked it, let me learn. That's what I mean when I say arrogance. It's not everyone. And another thing I'll say is that just because person A wants 100 million in the bank and a yacht and a Bugatti and a super and all this stuff, someone else might just be content with a nice takeaway every week, a good family life, and a holiday every 2 years. That's also fine.
Can you mentor that kind of person?
If that's what they're content with, then they would have no interest in me mentoring them, and I'd have no interest in mentoring them.
Who do you have any interest in mentoring?
People that want to be mentored, people that are hungry for it, people that want success, people that know they can do more and are ready to do something about it. Like, you know, I'm ready to mentor action takers, people that are going to put the work in, people that aren't going to start making excuses, they're just going to find a way to make it happen.
Okay. You've spoken before that you have a problem with authority, don't like being told what to do. But
Correct,
you've also said that everyone should learn from those that are ahead of them. So who do you consider as a mentor? Who do you learn from?
So when I say I had a problem with authority, what I meant was I had an authority of people that weren't where I wanted to be. Anyone that's ahead of me, I will respect them all day long.
Do you have mentors today?
Yeah, I've got informal mentors around me that are doing crazy things.
And what do you go to them for, seeing as you are in the position that you're in?
At the position I'm in now, it's more being around these kind of people. I learn stuff, right? You know, how the world works, how money works, how people who have made serious money, how they move, how they operate, how they got there. And it's not just the financial element of the mentorship. You know, if someone's been married for longer than I have, or if somebody has raised older kids than me, or if somebody is like, I've got spiritual mentors as well that will mentor me deeply in the things of the spirit. So it's like, it's not, when I say a mentor, it's not just about money. But if I have to pay money to get into a room, I'll do that every day of the week, because if someone knows more than me, I'm willing to learn. But yeah, it's not just finances, it's a balance.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the things you just mentioned. From a spiritual element, or from a spiritual perspective, what are some of the spiritual elements of making money, of wealth? If you can just go through those quickly.
I think tithing is very important.
Okay.
I think that's very important. You know, if you honor God with your first fruits, it shows that you are not like such a lover of money before loving God. So that's very important, I think, tithing, because it's like the ultimate form of humility and sacrifice before God. I think that's very important.
What about someone that's not a believer?
You said what the spiritual elements of making money, right?
So you're saying in terms of what you see, you're only seeing it from a Christian perspective?
I'm saying, yeah, if someone's not a believer, that's up to them. Like, they can, I'm not trying to convince anybody to believe what I believe. If they don't believe in that, that's fine. But for me, I believe that's very important. You have to honor God with your 10%. That's important. I think as well, you should, when you're making money, you should do everything that you can to be ethical. Like, making money the right way. So, for example, if you are scamming people every day or X, Y, Z, you're inviting conflicting energies, let's say, into your life, where I think it is difficult to build on a dishonest foundation. I believe that when it comes to making money, if you lead with value, right? Like, let's take property for an example. If everybody on the street is doing Airbnb, but your Airbnb has better facilities, it's cleaner, it's, instead of trying to fit 10 beds in every room, you've just got one nice double bed. You've actually thought about the experience. You've designed that property and that home to a standard where you would live there. There's a hot tub outside, there's a dartboard, there's a pool table. Like, you've really thought about every feature. Money's going to flow naturally. Money follows value. So if you go out there and say, I want to put as much value into my business as possible, the money is just a natural byproduct.
Okay, no, thank you. Coming towards the end, I want to talk about, again, back to winning, back to mentality. You have 2 beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
How are you raising them to be winners?
I think children don't do what they hear, they do what they see. So they see parents winning every single day. Like, they are so lucky and blessed to see what they see every single day. It's impossible. It's inevitable that they're going to wake up and they're going to win. They're coached, they're trained every single day. Like, I have no doubt that my offspring are going straight to the top. Like, they're just around it every single day. Like, my eldest, she's always talking about property management, Airbnb. She understands about finances a little bit now. She's taking things in. She understands that money flows where value goes. She understands that as long as she has resilience, as long as she's willing to implement, as long as she's willing to do the work, she will be successful. So, yeah, and obviously they are going to start from a good foundation.
Are there things you say to them? Understandably, they're seeing you are who you are, but are there things that you are consistently saying to them? Or?
I just speak life into my whole family all the time. I'm an encouraging person, but there's power in the tongue, right? So I'll always encourage them, to tell them that, look, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. You are this, you're X, Y, Z. Like, children need to have life spoken into them. And growing up, my dad always used to speak life into me, and I attribute that to a lot of my mindset today, because he always told me I could do things, you can do that. He always said to me, even one thing he said was, look, a good career can, give you stability and it can make you successful, but he said that a business will make you wealthy. So, and even till today, like, he died many years ago, but that still rings in my head because it's something that I live my life on. I always thought, okay, cool, let me work as a foundation, but if I want to become wealthy, I have to start a business. And, if I had a parent that told me, you can't do this, you're X, Y, Z. That's why a lot of people grow up now with limiting beliefs, because it's maybe it wouldn't be a parent, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a teacher, always saying to them, you can't amount to this, you can't amount to that. And unfortunately, not everybody has a strong mindset all of the time. Some people take on other people's projections onto them, and they say, actually, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But can't does not exist in my children's vocabulary.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to end with some quick fire questions.
Go for it.
One word, a few words, short sentence. So what is one belief in 2026?
One word or short sentence, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it can be.
Cool.
If I say one word, you're going to say as many words as you want. So I know it is what it is. So what's one belief in 2026 that people have to delete if they want to win?
One word or a small sentence?
Anything you want.
Do it today, not tomorrow.
Okay. If somebody wants 2026 to be their breakout year, what should they start doing today and not tomorrow?
They should start doing things that they've never done, to have things that they've never had. If you look at your 2025 and it's been the same, you need to change up what you're doing. You need to start doing new things, different things.
Okay. What is one habit that instantly exposes someone that is not serious?
Procrastination.
Okay. What is a limiting belief, or what are some limiting beliefs that you have had to remove from your mind? The fact you have to think about it is
Nothing.
even, it says
Nothing.
a lot. Seriously.
I don't have any limiting beliefs at all.
But throughout your life, there must
I've
be...
never had any limiting beliefs.
Serious?
Never.
Okay. What is one truth about money that people are scared to admit?
It's abundant and it's everywhere. And there's more money looking for an opportunity than opportunity looking for money.
Hey, okay. What is one small daily action that separates dangerous thinkers
Consistency.
from daydreamers? All right, cool. What is something you sacrificed to win that you don't regret?
It's a good one. What I sacrificed to win, I don't regret. I don't feel like I really made any sacrifices apart from I locked in, but I don't feel like I'm missing anything. If for example, everyone's going out on the weekend drinking, I don't drink anymore. I don't feel like I've missed out because I'm locked in with my goals. So I can't say to you I've sacrificed anything really. I'm enjoying life.
Okay. what is a question that everyone should ask themselves before the end of 2025?
Have I achieved my goals, and if not, why? And you need to be brutally honest with yourself, like not a fairy tale of X, Y, Z has happened. You are to blame if you've not achieved your goals. Take it on the chin and be accountable.
What's the quickest way to destroy your momentum?
By stopping, by procrastinating, by saying I'll do it tomorrow.
And what is something that you see in Dubai that inspires you?
The speed in which things are done. You know, you can leave Dubai for a summer and come back and there's another skyscraper and there's 6 new hotels and there's another beach club and there's 5 new gyms and there's a tower being built bigger than the Burj Khalifa and there's 17 new off-plan developments. Like, this is Dubai. It moves with pace.
I love it. I love it. Dami Omotayo, thank you so much for coming on today. I think this is an episode that I've thoroughly enjoyed. I've looked forward to for a long time.
Yeah.
Because there's I don't want to use the word energy because it's misconstrued a lot, but there is an energy that you move with, right? The words you say, the belief that you have, it means a lot, and I think it can be felt, and I think it also means that the things you say are believed, and I think it motivates people a lot. So I think for what you do, you're a blessing to so many people. You motivate and encourage a lot of people. So I'm very confident that this episode is going to do that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, bro. It's been a pleasure to be here. Me too. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. The time's really flown. I feel like we could have done this again for another hour. So yeah, I appreciate it.
You'll definitely be back. You'll be back. Thanks, man. We'll continue the conversation.
Yeah.